Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on specifically The Flash Season 4, but I guess you could incorporate all the other TV shows in the DC Universe or Arrowverse into this video as well, because it is going to involve elements and also just, their shows in general. So when we first started off the Arrowverse back with Arrow, it was just Arrow. There was no real, over-the-top superhero stuff with, metahumans and everything like that. But then we moved on into The Flash, and we were introduced to, the whole thing of metahumans and superpowered people, but we didn't have the multiverse as a whole yet. We were just on Earth 1, as we knew it, like Prime Earth. There was nothing else going on. But then as we moved into Season 2 of The Flash, we slowly, brought in the multiverse, and we slowly met Earth 2, and then also learned about other Earths in the same, season as well. So in this video, we're going to be going over the multiverse and explaining every single Earth we know of so far, and this is for the end of 2017, basically, because the shows are on break now. We're not going to learn of any more Earths up until the 2018, so this is going to be all we know up until the end of 2017. But do let me know in the comments if I have missed out on anything regarding multiverse or any other Earths, might I say, that we do know of that I've forgotten to put in this video. And if you want to have some fun, just leave what your favorite Earth is in the comments section down below as well. So we will be going in numerical order, not like the order they appeared in the shows and stuff like that, in numerical order. So 1, 2, then 3, etc, etc, etc. And that's just so you know how this is going to be playing out. So let's start off with the obvious one. Earth 1, the OG, the original gangster, the original Earth we met back in Arrow. Not just the Flash, but back in Arrow. So obviously this is the home of Arrow, the Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. Obviously Legends does go across time, but it doesn't cross Earths. That could happen in the future. I do want something to happen with a Wave Rider where, maybe it can go through the multiverse. It would broaden Legends ridiculously. They could do so much more stuff if they could actually travel the multiverse. But at the moment they can just travel through time on Earth 1. So we have Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. Then we have Earth 2, which is the home of Harry Wells, Jesse Quick, which is obviously Harry's daughter. Obviously it was the home of Zoom. And then when it comes to Arrow, it was also the home of Black Siren before she was brought over by Zoom and then locked up on Star Labs before being released by Prometheus. And then working alongside with Cade and James and that team of villains we now see on Arrow. Now Earth 2 is the Earth that we're most familiar with, I guess, when it comes to the Flash, and I guess you could say Arrow as well. Now obviously we don't know too much about whether we're going to see more of Earth 2 as we go forward, but seeing that Harry is more involved with the show now, and also we have Black Siren and Arrow, we might get some throwbacks or flashbacks to Earth 2 in regards to her. And then with Harry Wells, if he's going back and forth, we'll get news of what's going on over there, and maybe even see it from time to time. We then have Earth 3, which is obviously the home of Jay Garrick. Now we also met another version of the Trickster when we saw him over there. He was taking on Jay Garrick, and then that's when Barry came over and helped out Jay when he was in a bit of a sticky situation with that version of the Trickster. Now, I think they called him the Jokester. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll just call him the Earth 3 Trickster because it's the best or the easiest way to go about it. Now we do know that Jesse Quick also went to Earth 3 at one point to help out that Earth when Jay was sort of, stuck in the Speed Force. But in regards to Earth 3, we haven't learned too much about it, even though we do have a pretty, big character in the form of Jay Garrick from there. But you never know. We could see more of that in the future. Earth 3 did look, pretty similar to Earth 1 in regards to, how it looked. I guess it did go for a bit more of a classic design, sort of similar to Earth 2. But it almost looked like Earth 2 and Earth 1 merged. That was what they were going for. So we could see it in the future, because it doesn't seem like it'd be too much of a task to make it, make the certain surroundings on the areas that they shoot Earth 1 scenes on to make it look like Earth 3. We then jump ahead to Earth 12, which is actually the home of Harrison Wolfgang Wells, who is that German Austrian version of Wells that we saw in the member, as we saw as a member of the Council of Wells earlier on this season. Up next, we actually have Earth 13, which is the home of Wells the Grey. Now he was a benched member of the Council of Wells that we met earlier this season. They brought him over. He did something weird. I think he said, "Thou shalt not pass," or something like that, and then they just got rid of him. So he's sort of a benched member. If one of those other members of the Council of Wells maybe had to leave early, they might have brought in Wells the Grey again. But I liked Wells the Grey. I think he's my favourite member of the Council of Wells from earlier this season, even though he was only there for a couple of seconds. But yeah, I think with Wells the Grey would have been pretty cool if Cisco was a Hobbit on that Earth as well. Maybe we should have seen that. Missed opportunity, but you never know. Maybe next season we could see Wells the Grey along with his friend Cisco Baggins. Who knows? We then move on to Earth 17, which is where we meet our first Wells from Season 3 of The Flash, when they were looking for the Wells to replace Harry as he wanted to go back to Earth 2. And that was Steampunk Wells. So he was the dude that had the English accent and had the more I don't know what the term to use is, but he had like the top hat as well, I think it was. So everyone just called him Steampunk Wells. So yeah, he was from Earth 17. We really don't know too much about that Earth apart from this is where this Wells is from. This is then when we move on to a pretty common Earth for most of us that watch The Flash at least, and that is Earth 19, which is of course the home of Gypsy, Cisco's girlfriend, and the bounty hunter, Breacher, who was obviously Gypsy's father, the Accelerated Man, who was like the Earth 19 Flash, and a lot of people want to see him come back onto the show at some point, and of course it is the home of the late H.R. Wells, who we saw die at the end of last season of The Flash. Now, we have heard like throughout a couple of like people saying this, but Earth 19 was nearly like destroyed by an invading hostile force from like an unknown Earth, and after they managed to survive, Earth 19 actually outlawed interdimensional travel from their Earth in their attempt to like prevent anything like that happening again, like any disaster like that. So obviously that's why Gypsy was going after HR in last season of The Flash, because he had traveled interdimensionally. That was a pretty hard word to get out. Now, obviously, we do have the two-part story arc that they do in The Flash every season in episodes 13 and 14. I think they've filmed episode 13 now, but I would actually like them to see. I like to see them do something with Earth 19 maybe, and that could be what they did, because in season 1 we had Firestorm, in season 2 it was when they went to Earth 2, and in season 3 it was the whole Gorilla City thing. So in the season 2 and 3 like two-parters, it did involve Earth 2 because that's where Gorilla Grodd went. So that was an Earth 2 Gorilla City sort of thing. So in season 4, I wouldn't mind them doing Earth 19, bringing back the Accelerated Man and maybe delving deeper into what's going on in Earth 19, but I don't know, let me know what you think of that in the comments. Next up we have Earth 22, which is actually the home to Wells 2.0 as he called himself, or as I was calling him, and I'm sure a lot of other people were calling him as well, Mad Max Wells. Now he's like a cyborg version of Harrison Wells that was a part of the Council of Wells, sort of like the Austrian Wolfgang Wells that we talked about earlier. Now, Earth 22 is actually, like Mad Max, an apocalyptic world with, like, ridiculously harsh living conditions that humans have essentially become one with machines in order to survive. And we also do get that little, like, info drop and info nugget, which I thought was pretty funny, that this Wells, I'm pretty sure he said it was him, actually ate the Earth 22 version of Cisco, and he was delicious, so that was pretty funny. The next Earth up to talk about isn't one we have to talk about too much, and that is Earth 38, because that is Supergirl's Earth, so it's pretty straightforward. It's Supergirl's Earth, we see it every single week on Supergirl. Barry has gone to Supergirl's Earth twice, once accidentally, and once to actually get her to come back and fight in the Invasion crossover from last season. So yeah, it's Supergirl's Earth, Earth 38, and we might see more characters pop up there in the future. It's also the home of Martian Manhunter, obviously, and another character, you might know him, Superman. Then we have Earth 47, which is home to another member of the Council of Wells that we saw earlier this season, and that is H. Lothario Wells, aka the Matthew McConaughey Wells, or the Hugh Hefner Wells, whichever one you want to call him. Now, there's really not much known about this Earth at all, apart from that this Wells is from that Earth, but just going by how this Wells presented himself, it must be a pretty sleazy Earth though. I don't know, maybe that's just me thinking that. Up next is Earth 48, so straight after 47 we have 48. Now this is an Earth that has been mentioned but not actually seen. Now Earth 48, is apparently the home of the identified hunter-killer mentioned by Gypsy's father Breacher. Now he reveals that he fought and killed this hunter-killer from this Earth and then took his blade after doing so. So we've talked about this Earth 48, but we haven't actually physically seen it. Now, will we see it? Probably not, but yeah, they just like added another Earth to the multiverse in like Breach's little story. Now next up we have an Earth that should be pretty fresh on a lot of people's minds that watch these shows, and that is of course Earth X. Now Earth X is so horrible that according to Harry Wells from our good other Earth of Earth 2, it doesn't even have a designation on the map of the multiverse. So it was the focus of this year's crossover story, obviously, Crisis on Earth X. But yeah, it doesn't even have a designation on the multiverse map, where there is 52 Earths. This is the 53rd Earth, but it's so horrible that the other multiverse, or the other Earths in the multiverse are like, we'll maybe just shun him, this Earth, for a bit, just leave him out of the equation. So yeah, it's just us 52 and that random dude on the outlier. Now we've gone over every Earth that actually has a number. Now there are some unlabeled Earths, which we will go over now. There is actually the volcanic Earth that, if we saw back in Season 3 of The Flash, we saw Cisco and Gypsy breaching to different Earths in their fight. We saw them go to Earth 2, Supergirl's Earth, and then they also went to this volcanic Earth which look like is it Mustafa from it's not Supergirl, from Star Wars. It sort of looked like that. So that's an Earth that we don't know what number it is. Like, is it like a volcanic Earth? What's going on there? Or did they just land in a volcano or a volcanic area on a certain Earth? We don't know what number Earth that is. We also have the Earth of Hell's Wells, who was another member of the season 3 search for the new Wells when they found out H.R. Wells. And then we also have the Earth of the Mime Wells, who was in that group as well when they were looking for the new version of Wells to replace Harry. So we have those two versions of Wells from unlabeled Earths. I don't think they actually gave us numbers for them. And then we actually have a final one, which is actually a pretty big one, which we could actually have explained to us, you know, in the next couple of months, and that is Black Lightning's Earth. We don't know what Earth he's on. It doesn't look like he's on Earth 1. I just don't think he will be. But I wonder if they're going to put him on a familiar Earth. Like, I think they could put him on Earth 3 and maybe give Earth 3 some spotlight and put Black Lightning there. Or maybe they could put him on Earth 38, which is, of course, Supergirl's Earth, and it would make crossing over much easier if they want to bring him into the fold and have him, you know, share this screen with like Flash and Arrow and the Legends of Tomorrow. Because if he's incorporated with Supergirl, Supergirl can mention him, say, you know, I got this dude who's, you know, pretty powered, throw some lightning, pretty cool. They could bring him in, and I think that would be the smarter choice, but we'll have to wait and see. They might not even explain what Earth he's on in season 1 of Black Lightning. They might leave it as like a blank slate, and then when we move into the new seasons of all the shows, that's when they could like detail where he's from. But they could just chuck in little Easter eggs on Black Lightning, like having Supergirl news or something on the TV in a background of a scene, just stuff like that. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. This was a bit of a different video, but I thought it would be a nice one to do just while I'm on break. And there's not a lot of stuff to talk about. Really, there's not much to talk about, so I thought, let's do a fun video like this, just in case people wanted to, you know what's the update and what's happening with the multiverse nowadays, just before we wrap up 2017. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions. If I missed out on any Earths, I don't think I did. I might have missed out on some like unlabeled Earths, but I think the ones that like have numbers, I'm pretty sure I got all of them. But if I did, let me know in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.